Before I was going to bed, I seen this out. I'm gonna just want to talk about it. Before I send guys, this is happening in every local authority around the country. In every council there is some of this going on. I was involved 2 years back in an incident in Lockford. There was a person retired from the county council for 3 years, and obviously he was still getting benefits, for phone bills and things like that, and the council were paying for the taxpayer was paying for it. And obviously that was a good bit of money at the time. I think it was 2,000 or something euros. So something similar here, and it happens in every local authority. Former members, of the local authorities that are retired from, you say, for example, in this instance in Kildare, former members. These people are no longer members of the civil authority, in that area, and obviously still get the benefits of being in it. Like etc. You don't have to pay for phone bills or anything like that. So this incident here in Kildare, being paid for phone bills and for fuel, I think for cars, as far as I know, it's from the Jonah.ie. Leave a link in the description. Um, so obviously, first of all, I see not keeping logs. That's obviously straight away raises a few red flags. So one, it's like this is one. So as I said, 2,000 was 2,500 or something that fell in Lockwood, and obviously he had to pay it all back, which was great. That he's found out and everything that it wasn't prosecuted, it was made pay it back, to the civil authority, which was great. So yeah, this is in Kildare. So the problems were also identifying payments of phone from a former staff member. So he left employment within 2012. So take that for example from the council. He paid they paid the bill for the past 6 years. So take the 6 years now they've been paying that bill and 7 months. This cost the council 1,000 nearly just over €1,000, just over €1,000, or just basically over €1,000. But this is just for a phone bill. So obviously, I say this fellow was in some office job or something like that in the county council, and obviously he retired in 2012. For 6 years, it's been going on for. So obviously a bill of €1,000 is it's pretty hefty, if you think about it. And obviously the taxpayer had to fund it. The Cadell taxpayer had to pay for it. Which is obviously, again, I understand if he was walking, if he was still walking in the council, I'd be like, fair enough. Because it's probably he's talking to people about different things. So, and like it goes on and goes on and goes on. But that's just one incident there. And that happens in every local town around the country. There's always somebody up to some shenanigans, even in the government, even in government departments, there's always something like that happening. It's hard to detect. Again, it's straight away. It's hard. Sometimes, like the one in Lock when I was looking into it, and there were other people looking into it too. There was logs. Thankfully, there was logs on what was being paid out. So here it says there wasn't any logs on it. So basically, it was kind of on the ground and kind of very secretive. So fair play to the Jonah.ie for exposing it. I never heard anything about it, I might be honest, because that's way down the other side of the country, so I wouldn't have heard anything about it. See, the time in Lockfoot, they were suspicious about a few people, about a few former members of the council were very suspicious, which obviously I hopped in on and see what was the story. And obviously it was confirmed that a few of them were doing inappropriate things with public funds, and obviously they shouldn't have been getting it. As I said, there was two or three of them. But thankfully, it's hard to detect. Again, when you're looking for it, it's easy enough to detect. But you oftentimes let your guard down. You often think of civil servant people in the civil service, for example, as people who are trustworthy and people who are reliable, and who have the best interest of that county in mind, the best interest of the public in mind. But again, there's often people that slip through the cracks that are very corrupt and obviously just want to benefit themselves, and not the taxpayer, not the general public. And this is one incident where it's happened. So again, I'll leave the link in the description. It's probably other parts here, but that's just the one I spotted, from quickly reading through it. There's probably other parts here. So yeah, I would have a look at this. It says about council files, but again, as I said, so yeah, we look through it there. There's a few other things there. That's Oh, so it says here. I didn't even see this actually because there wasn't. It says Kilkenny gets paying bills for 9 people. So this is different. Before that was only 3 or 4. Were not for county council. For people who were no longer working, so it was 9. So that's just 1 out of 9. So you think about it. Let's just think for a second. So roughly 5,000, 6,000 most at most. For phone bills. again, these are people no longer working in the council, in the civil authority. So easily 5 to 6 thousand. I'm sure people would agree with me. 5 to 6 thousand, possibly seven at most. Because say they have a person who's 1,000, because God knows how long the other ones were working for, who were long, they could have been retired since 1990 for all we know. It doesn't say, it only says one. So have a look at that article. It's interesting to know. And then I always say to people to always keep an eye on your local authorities. Always make sure that the money's going to where it should be going. Obviously, I understand if people are walking. I know a few people in the councils that are obviously on the road. Obviously using their own phone for public use. Civil service use. You're winging people up for different things. I know one person who walks on the roads, and obviously he'd be walking with people with the general community, just trying to figure out he fills in the potholes. And obviously he wings up people. People make a report into the council. He wings them up and says, "Where exactly is it?" And obviously, he claims expenses on that, and obviously he should, because this is his private phone he uses, to find out. So obviously that's understandable. But these people no longer working in the council. That's what I'm trying to say. So yeah, take care, everybody. Let me know what you think about it. It is happening in every local authority. It's unfortunate. There's always one in local authority. That's in any local authority. It's always going to go out of the way to try and benefit themselves, and that's the thing.